Hi, this is Randy. Welcome to my channel. Glad to have you here today. What we're going to be talking about today is submission and respect for authority. Submission and respect for authority. Just before we do, I want to ask you if you'd please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. If you ring the bell, you'll know when I make a post. These are the things that help me get my video pushed out. I got to get to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 viewing hours before they'll help me push my video out. All the help you could give me, I'd appreciate it. If you want to share it with a relative or somebody at church, that would be wonderful. Old retired preacher just trying to share the gospel with people. Thank you for your time, and thanks for everyone that has subscribed. Let's get into it. Submission and respect for authority, 1 John 3 and 4. Everyone who sins breaks the law. In fact, sin is lawlessness. Now, the Greek word for lawlessness is anomia, and it's disobedience to the authority of God. We need to submit to the authority of God. When you go to church, you need to be respectful of your pastor, be respectful of your elders, be respectful of your teachers, and if you go out into the world, and you need to be respectful to the police. Now, I'm not saying all policemen are perfect. Not saying that at all. But I would think most of them are pretty good. But you should give them the proper respect that's due them and not get up in their grill and scream at them and things of that nature. God wants you to be peaceful to people and to respect authority. Police, firemen, paramedics, teachers, your mayor, governor, senator, president, whether you like the president or not, whether you voted for him or not. You know, not everybody liked Joe Biden. Not everybody liked President Obama. Not everybody liked President Bush. All right, we don't all like everybody, and sometimes our guys that we vote for, people, don't get elected. But that don't give you a right to hate people and be disrespectful and to want people dead. I mean, we're living in a society where people just getting out of hand about things, and that's not what God wants. God wants submission and respect for authority. When we substitute our will for God's will, we're sinning. We need to follow the example that the Christ has laid down for us, and it's to give respect to people of authority, whether you like it or not. A lot of people don't like authority. If you don't, you're going to have a rough life, all right, because you're going to have authority. I mean, I've known guys that got drafted in the military when they had the draft. I mean, when that DI gets up in your face, tells you you're stupid, you're an idiot, and screams at you and everything else, you got to understand, that's the way life is. And he's got the authority to do that, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you go along with the program and you do what you're supposed to do. And so we need to realize that we need to submit ourselves to the governing authorities. And that doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything, like your town council or alderman, wherever you live, what they call them, or your governor or your senator. You may not agree with the school board about things. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to do peaceful protests. Stand in a public place, hold up a sign. You don't like what's going on. Put a petition together and take it to your town council or whoever you may be having a problem with. You're allowed to have grievances and not and be able to express your opinion on things, but you don't do it with violence. You don't go break windows out and burn businesses down and fight with people. That's not what God wants. God doesn't want you doing that. So we need to realize when we substitute our will for God's, we're sinning. We should respect all of our leaders, no matter who they are. Like I said, firemen, policemen, everything. My brother-in-law was a paramedic for 35 years or something like that. A captain, supervisor over all the paramedics. His son, my nephew, is still a paramedic. And they deal with a lot of people in desperate situations, people that are dying. Some people have been stabbed, some been shot. And they deal with that stuff. And those people need to be respected. They know what they're doing. They're there to save lives. They're there to help people. So stay out of their way. Don't be getting all over them and let them do their job. Same way with firemen, policemen. I'll tell you one thing. This is the gospel truth. When I was a kid, I was riding my bike and they had a big fire up somewhere on Jefferson. I don't remember where it was so many years ago. So I rode my bike over there. I could see smoke going up. I could hear all the fire sirens and everything else. And I saw this car parked in front of the fire hydrant. And the policeman took an axe, knocked the window out of the passenger side. Another one was on the other side. He knocked the window on the driver's side. And they ran the hose right through the car and started putting the fire out. And I was, I'm just a kid, 13 or 14 years old. My head spin. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But that guy had no respect for authority. He parked in front of a fire hydrant. And so I'm sure when he got to wherever his car, when he got to his car, he saw what was going on. And that's what he got for breaking the law. So we need to realize there are consequences for things. But you can have peaceful protest. You can put a petition together. You can go to your town council, the school board, tell them you're not happy about something. But you don't scream, you don't holler, you don't cuss, you don't demean. You submit to authority and you give respect to them that are in charge. All right? That's the way it is. We should be respectful to other people. Everyone must submit themselves to the governing authorities because they are in charge. And we need to be respectful. You don't have to agree with everybody about everything, but you can be respectful about it. We should have respect for our leaders, pastors, president, senators. Like I said, all these people of authority, you treat them with respect. And if you do, you'll probably feel it coming back, and it won't be hostile. So we shouldn't do that. Our nation has gotten to where we don't respect authority. And we're teaching our children to to go against authority and scream and holler and all that. And they need to realize there's a right way to do things and a wrong way. Peaceful demonstration, peaceful petitions, peaceful speaking to leaders is the way you do disagreements. You do not get hostile and hate people and cause trouble. That's not what God intended for us to do. We're supposed to respect the governing authority. And what does it say if you don't? If you don't respect the governing authority, it says it's lawlessness, anomia, the Greek word. So it means to submit to the authority in a proper way. Everyone must submit themselves to the governing authorities. You may not like it, but that's what it is. The Bible teaches it, and we need to realize it. So be respectful to everyone, from the church to school to your job. I had a foreman one time. He told me, I don't like you. They hired you. I didn't want you. I don't want you here. If I can get you out of here, I will. I mean, he told me that on my first day. But he was my boss. So I said, okay, sir, thank you. And I had needed a paycheck. I had a daughter to support, and I had my mother I was helping out. And I wanted to take care of my family. So I just did what I was supposed to do. And he rode me for 2 years. And he'd remind me once a week, twice a week, he didn't like me. And come to find out, he wanted some young man hired from his church. He was an elder at some Baptist church, wherever town he lived in. And I got hired instead. And he didn't like that. So he just made it difficult for me. But I submitted to authority. He's the foreman. I worked for him. So I did it. Long story short, he caused so much trouble, rode me so bad, the plant superintendent had him step down as foreman, promoted the assistant foreman up, promoted another guy to be the assistant foreman, and he told him, they worked out a deal. He was going to work 3 more months and retire. And so he put him to work for me. And I thought, man, this is payday. Boy, God, thank you. He's going to work for me, and he's got no authority. He's no longer the foreman. And all of a sudden, in my mind, the Lord said, no. You treat him with respect. He's 73 years old. You be kind to him. So I told him when he came back with his head hanging down saying, I'm supposed to work for you for the next 3 months. I said, look, you've worked here for over 40 years. You were my boss for over 2 years. You just do what you want around here. Help out wherever you want, what you want, do what you want. You know what's going on better than me. Enjoy your last 3 months. You don't have to answer to me. If you got a question for me, you want to help me out, just let me know. and just enjoy your last 3 months till you retire. And he looked at me. I'll never forget that look. It was a look like, and he kept looking around like he couldn't believe. I patted him on his shoulder. I said, you have a good day. I want you to enjoy your last 3 months here. Have a good time. And I went on to work. Me and him got along great. He thanked me the last day and he left, went on and retired. Things don't always work out the way you want, but sometimes things do. But you still got to do the right thing. Me, I wanted to get even with him. That's the first thing came to my mind. But then, Lord, you can't do that. He knows you're a pastor's son. He knows that you're a Christian. And he knows you're studying for the ministry. You cannot do that. So I did what the Lord wanted. He had an happy 3 months. I had a happy 3 months. And it ended okay. Why? Because I followed what the Lord told me. Am I a great person? No, I'm not saying that. But I know what I did. I don't know what you did. And I'm just trying to give you an example. Our nation's got away from that. Disrespectful. Everyone must submit to authority. We can have peaceful demonstrations, but not chaos. Chaos doesn't come from God. God's a God of peace. All right? God is a God of peace. And God is a God of order. He's not a God of chaos. James said to him, he that knoweth doeth right and doeth it not, to him it is sin. If you know what's right and you don't do it, you're sinning. So don't sin against God, and treat people with respect and give people an authority the respect they deserve. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time, old Rev May signing off. You have a wonderful day and God love you. I appreciate it.